Christianity, we all know it and we all love it.
I love you, Jesus Christ. Okay, that's bullshit. Most people do not want to talk about Jesus. In fact, I know people who specifically talk about Jesus when they want to be left alone.
Well, not all of us. But what else has had such an impact on the way society is today? From books to movies.
God had told him to call forth water from the rock with his voice, not to hit it with his staff. Finally, the day arrived when all those who had been afraid were dead.
To even entire religions, you can't go anywhere without seeing Jesus' beautiful mug. Look at this Bible. It's the greatest book ever written. I don't want to read. Reading is boring. If only there was a way to experience the Bible without reading the Bible. Well, I think we're in luck. If there's one thing Christians know, it's media. And there's an endless supply of Christianity-themed video games. So let's dive into some of these wonderful gems, straight from the big man himself. Let's go all the way back to 1992 with Spiritual Warfare for the NES and made by Wisdom Tree Games. And look at that flaming sword. I could tell this game is going to be an absolute banger already. We start the game and go into this room, and I'm experiencing a bit of deja vu. Yeah, it's a Zelda clone, but Zelda is a good game, one of the best NES games. So hypothetically, if you add the power of Christ to Zelda, you have the greatest game ever. What is the goal of this game, you may ask yourself? Well, a lot like many famous Christians throughout history, we must convert people. Like this guy with sunglasses and a knife. And sometimes after we throw fruit at them, a demon comes out and tries to kill us. A lot like what happens in real life. God tasked us with converting everyone, and that's something we must do. I'm sure after playing this game, every kid wanted to go out and spread the good word, and the game even tests you on it. This angel comes down and asks us Bible-themed trivia so we can win the in-game currency, faith, which I guess is better than money? Look at how happy this nice bow-tied man looks. He even made his bow tie spin for answering them all correctly. That's the only reward I need in life. All jokes aside, this game is good, and I mean surprisingly good, almost on par with the original Zelda. If I was a kid in the early 90s and my parents bought me a Christian-themed video game, I'd probably be kinda pissed off because that sounds lame. But if you gave me this, I'd probably join the ministry. I mean, did I mention the title screen has a badass flaming death sword? The game also has a ton of different areas. I didn't get to them all, but the two most interesting to me were the city and the slums. At first I, and maybe you too, thought this was just going to be a fantasy-esque game, but based around Jesus and the Bible and stuff. But no, it's based in the modern day of 1992, and you must convert all the evil, corrupted, satanic forces of office workers and construction workers. Nothing screams I love Satan like a 9 to 5. There's also a section of slums with people riding bikes in the dark from Target. The game was actually released on Steam not too long ago, and I would definitely recommend spending $10 on it. But if you like old NES games, it's worth a look at. First-person shooters. By far the least Jesus-friendly genre of games. But what if there was a first-person shooter based off the Bible? Introducing Super 3D Noahs Ark. A first-person shooter where the goal isn't to kill, but to put animals on the Ark to sleep. Wait. Anyways, we start the game and are met with this wonderful intro screen. It's even family approved if you aren't quite sure about the rating of a Bible-themed video game. And it was made by Wisdom Tree Games. Yeah, if you couldn't tell, Wisdom Tree Games was very active in developing Christian games in the 90s. This game was re-released in 2014 and there's a whole background on it that I won't explain here. Just watch this LGR video for a real explanation. But before the gameplay, it gives us the story. It's been a long journey for Noah and the gang aboard the Ark. In just a few more days, Noah and his family will be on dry land once again. Unfortunately, there's a whole zoo of restless animals who want off the Ark more than Noah does. It's up to you to help Noah make the animals go to sleep by feeding them. It's a big ark with a lot of critters, and around every corner you'll find a new adventure. Sounds invigorating. And I don't know if you noticed, but in the help menu, if you barely move your mouse, it flashes through all the pages. I mean, I'm barely touching that, so I don't know, maybe not a great indicator of the quality of this game. It also goes over the animals and the different weapons that we can use, but I don't really care about that. We start a new game and we'll have to deal with Carl the Camel, who's a bit out of control. Looks like Dark Souls has a run for its money. And I'm experiencing a bit of deja vu. Yeah, if there's one thing that Wisdom Tree Games loves, it's making complete copies of more popular AAA games. If you haven't noticed, this is a complete rip-off of Wolfenstein 3D, just made family-friendly and Bible-themed. It's not even really a ripoff because id Software gave them permission to use the Wolfenstein 3D engine, and as I played, I realized this kinda sucks. I mean, it's a retro FPS, a not very good one with extremely repetitive environments where every level kind of feels like the same. But we finished the first floor of level 1 and holy fuck, that is the sickest baseline in any video game ever. So far, the best part of the game. This does not belong on a Bible game from 1994. You get into the second floor and it's basically the same. But there's these doors that you need to unlock with keys. Also this new feeder weapon thing. The Super Feeder 5000, which is kind of the equivalent of a machine gun. Anyways, we passed that stage and it's time for the boss battle against a camel. And it was generally challenging. I mean, yeah, it's a boss battle, but this is a kid's game. I didn't expect it to be anywhere near that difficult. But yeah, that was it. We get the key and we leave. And we're done with the first stage, level, whatever it's called. I will not be playing the rest of the game because I have better things to do with my time. The re-release version of the game was $5 on GOG, so if you're super into Christian-themed video games, I guess it's worth picking up, but I wouldn't really recommend it for anyone not into odd gaming history. Saints of Virtue was another Christian first-person shooter that I cannot get to work on my PC. I may make a video on it by itself, but I did get the intro to play. And I'm just going to show it here because it felt like a fever dream. Feel free to skip this part, but this may be the most late 90s game intro I have ever witnessed.
Warrior, but still, every morning I get ready for another battle. My weapons are awesome, the most powerful in the universe. I don't fight against mankind for some kind of earthly reward. Instead, I fight the powers of darkness with control of my mind. The battlefield isn't even a physical one. The battles rage within the kingdom of my heart, deep within my very soul. I truly am a warrior.
The belt of truth, the breastplate of righteousness, the shoes of the gospel, the shield of faith, the helmet of salvation, the sword of the Spirit.
Those last couple games were some older Christian games, but where have Christian games gone in the last couple years? I mean, with all the advancements in technology, there will probably be some pretty cool games that bring the Bible to life, right? Well, from the same publisher as House Flipper, the same developers as Jungle Shelter, we have I Am Jesus Christ. Now, I haven't read the Bible in a while, but having a game called I Am Jesus Christ seems a bit heretical. I'm not sure that proclaiming you are the Messiah gets 2 thumbs up from the Pope, but regardless, let's check it out. And by it, I mean the free demo because the game isn't out yet, and will it ever be? I doubt it. This game has "We aren't gonna finish it" written all over it. And coupled with the 5 other projects the studio is working on that are set to release at roughly the same time, there's something wrong here, but I don't know, maybe I'm just pessimistic. The game opens with this explanation of God and Jesus being born, and holy shit, what is that? For a game that's coming out in 2023, the NPCs should not look like they're from Oblivion. The lighting looks like it's from Oblivion too, there's just way too much bloom. And I'm 99% sure this map in the loading screen is literally just a screenshot from Google Maps. You can even see the city names. But it's 30 years later and we wake up to an angel or something telling us to find John the Baptist. And immediately this game runs like absolute garbage, especially considering how bad it looks. They just added way too much lighting to the point where everything is way too bright and washed out. But we talked to Mary, who's...
We have also been visited by angels throughout our lives. I do truly believe that your time has come, my son.
We talked to Mary, and the voice acting is also not that great. I don't know why they made Mary sound like a suburban soccer mom. I also don't know how Mary should sound, but not like that. She tells us to go talk to someone in the market, so we go into the market and find someone who may know where John the Baptist is, and after a very boring walk and a Bible quote, we get told to talk to someone else that's like 200 meters away. And why is Jesus so yellow? I get he wasn't like super white, but this isn't a natural skin color. He looks like a sickly Simpson. We make another way too long boring walk and then have to go back to our house and then walk back out to meet some guy. I understand it's a sort of RPG, but they could have at least made the first quest in the game not have you running from town to town. And guess what? We now have to walk more, but this time through rain. The game also introduces its inventory system, which is kind of confusing to me. They have your quests in the inventory screen, which I don't know why they wouldn't just make it its own screen, but after we eat some berries and find John the Baptist and blah blah blah, now we're in the desert being tempted by Satan. And guess what? There's more walking. But this time there isn't even anything to look at except this spinny ring thing. And after we walk into it, we get introduced to the combat system. You can just repel these magic blasts and do some other stuff, but this entire section is just walking from ring to ring and learning new abilities. It somehow made one of the more boring parts of games even more boring. After even more endless wandering, which I guess is kind of historically accurate, we come face to face with Satan and have an epic battle on this volcano thing. But we finally defeat Satan, and he goes on about how humans are bad and Jesus is lame, and this part does kind of feel sick compared to the rest of the game. It's the most video gamey part of the game. And I didn't really want to play any more of the game, but you know. The Bible. This is our final game this video. The Bible on Steam. It's literally the Bible. The entire Bible for $15. Is it worth $15? Well, let's find out. The start menu is the Bible. You have some Bible settings and you can read about the Bible. You can read the actual Bible itself too. I chose the Catholic one because I'm a good Catholic boy, and the Book of John, and it's the Bible. There's pages like the Bible has, and you can read your history, which the team doesn't seem to have down, but that's alright. I searched for a circumcision with the search feature, and that appears a lot. The only part of this game that's a game is the Bible-themed trivia that looks like it's out of a Dio album. And I didn't do so well, but hey, at least I got an achievement for looking at the credits. Well, those were a couple Christian games, and did they improve as time went on? No. But they were interesting to look at regardless. There were a couple games I wanted to look at that I couldn't get working, like Saints of Virtue, so let me know if you want a standalone video on it, but that's all for this video. Have a nice life.
Just garbage, but fun to make. Yeah.